What's up, YouTube? What's up, Discord? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another market analysis, guys. We're recording this here on Monday night. I wanted to give the markets a little bit of time to open through all the bank and the news and everything like that. We were supposed to do this live, but some things came up, you guys know. Tomorrow we will be live, right? You should be watching this video tonight. I'm going to be uploading this as soon as I'm done recording it, so you guys can have, the access to the data as soon as possible, because you guys know tomorrow morning most of this is probably going to change depending on if we have news. And speaking of news, let's go ahead and check that out right now. That's actually the first thing we do want to check out. Searching up the wrong thing. Forex Factory, there we go. Bank holiday today, of course. Boom. So here we go. What do we have this week? So first thing I notice here is we have CPI for the Aussie right here. So odd news, definitely something we're going to pay attention to, especially, well, this is tomorrow. We're going to talk about this because we're looking to take an Oz trade right here, odd USD trade. So we're definitely going to look at that. And then we have a lot of NZD news. Now, I don't usually trade a lot of NZD pairs, to be honest with you. So that's not something I'm really going to be worried about. FOMC meeting minutes. Honestly, I'm not really worried about this because I'm out of the markets, especially if you're trading like indices or anything like that. I'm usually out of markets before 2 p.m. That's when I close my trades out, if I am into any trades anyways. Like I said, I will get that strategy to you guys. If you guys haven't seen it yet, for those of you that are in the mentorship, I did drop the Forex strategy, right? I dropped the breakdown to all of my confluences, all of the rules, the checklist that you guys see on the right, which you're going to see in a second once we get the market up to pairs. That checklist right there, I broke down all the rules and basically, what I'm looking for. And I just broke down some trades that we visually see on the markets and just kind of explaining that a little bit more. So if you are in the mentorship, you should have access to that video recording, right? Just go into the mentorship section and it's going to be down there in the breakdowns and you'll be able to see it and you'll be able to watch that video. All right. Anyways, Thursday here, we have unemployment claims here. And we also have core PCE here on Friday, which is something I'm going to be paying attention to as well. So unemployment claims really and core PCE is something I'm going to be paying attention to. Other than that, I mean, FOMC meeting minutes, like I said, I'm out of the markets by that time, so we'll see what that does. But the main thing here I see, guys, is usually the main days that we usually look for anyways: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then of course we have some news on Friday. So not too many major news. You guys know next week being a new month, right? We're going into June. So we're going to have NFP. We're going to have the major news come out. We're going to have CPI come back again. We have PPI come back again. So as we end off this month, this is the last week of this month. So make it a profitable month, guys. Make sure you end the week off great. That's what we're going to try to do here. And let's get into these pairs, get into the analysis here real quick. Make this full screen, make it easier for you guys to see. And we're going to start with DXY, right? I'm going to start with DXY and I'm going to shuffle through these. I'm going to go, I don't want to make this too long. So I'm going to just make the important pairs. If I see a setup or if I'm looking at an analysis, we're going to try to analyze each and every one of these. But if it's too ugly, I'm going to just get off of it and we'll cover it tomorrow during a live call or whatever the case may be. I want to focus on the major things that I'm looking for this week. And I want you guys to be able to see everything major. And we also have to cover indices and just basically futures in general as well. At the end, we'll look at crypto too, but I don't want to sit here and try to break down every single pair. I want to really just analyze the ones that I'm already looking at or that I see a setup in potentially. So major thing we're going to start here is DXY. Why is it important? You guys can see DXY have pulled back to this imbalance, right? We're talking about this imbalance, guys. This is still a bearish market at the moment. We're still seeing nice impulsive moves to the downside, and we didn't see that accumulation here. We didn't see that clear accumulation here that we wanted to see at first. Excuse me. We didn't see that full clear accumulation here that we wanted to see at first. We really just got that bearish move towards the downside here after we got that imbalance. And you guys can see the market tried to do something, but it just wasn't as clean as we would expect it to be. So we got a nice push towards the downside here. Simply what we're looking for, we're going to keep selling this, right? We've already created a break of structure right here where we invalidated this order flow. So this is just bearish at the moment. We're having raids of Asian session highs here. And we see this market pushing lower. All right. So simply put, we're going to be expecting more bearish dollar, which means we're going to be looking for buys on EU, buys on GU, exactly what we've already been looking for since last week. And I've seen you guys already been taking the buys. That is great. I don't think the market's coming here anytime soon, but this still is a valid limit order. Okay. Just because the market is not close to here, do not disregard this area. This is still a valid limit order that I will keep here and I will keep there. Now, a major thing that I explained here in that video that I uploaded for the mentorship is, as this market is going higher, we are going to continue following this market. Remember, I told you guys, I am looking to target this high, and overall, this high being our main high that we want this market to come into. Okay. Just to continue the structure, continue that bullish leg that we already see. Okay. Now, it is raining outside. Hopefully, we don't get any flickers or anything. We should be good. Florida is really weird. This is supposed to be the sunny state, but it is raining. We got a manipulation of Asian lows, so that is pretty good. Looking for the impulsive move that breaks this high, and then we can look for our next trade opportunity. So that's something I'm going to be looking for here on EU. You guys already know we've been pushing higher. We've been invalidating highs here. This was from Friday. We got this stupid kind of just ugly move towards the downside. It looks like it's supposed to be a news type of manipulation move, but we did not see any valid imbalance inside of here for us to take a trade off of. We're on the 30-minute time frame and we're not seeing any closed off. Well, we're not seeing the market leave any imbalance in here. So there was nowhere here that I wanted to take a limit order. I do like the fact that we at least took out these lows. It would have been nicer if we would have had something valid inside of here to take an entry off of, but we didn't. So all we're looking at now here is we're looking at the fact that the market rated Asian lows right here. Okay. So what we're going to be looking for here is, after this rate of Asian lows, I'm going to let this market continue higher. We do have tomorrow, so hopefully tomorrow we can get another potential manipulation of some type of lows. We get the break at this high and we will take that trade towards the upside, just trying to buy this market and continue this market going higher. All right. And GU, exactly the same thing here. GU has been running towards the upside. We've already made our new high. You guys can see we've just been running. We're not even coming back into our demand zones. We didn't make it back into this demand zone. We created another demand zone. We barely made it back into that area here. Either after we manipulated these lows, we didn't make a new high, so we weren't looking for anything inside of here. We created liquidity and the market just kept pushing towards the upside, right? We do have this area right here that the market just kind of left over, but you guys can see we're kind of really far away from that. So that's not what I'm going to be looking for. What I'm looking for here on GU, let's just zoom out real quick and let's just see where we are at on the higher time frames. You guys can see we are following this bullish structure towards the upside on the daily time frame. We do have a whole bunch of highs up here that we can come and take, a lot of trend line liquidity up here until we get to that distribution. Okay. So to be honest, I can see this market just continue higher, and the next high that I'm gonna expect this to target, honestly, I don't know if these are equal highs. Yes, these are equal highs right here. I'm gonna put these as equal highs. All right, there are some equal highs for us to look at that we're getting close to. That's the clearest liquidity target here. Today we have an accumulation. Today is news, but we had a nice accumulation here. Not news, I'm sorry guys, today's a bank holiday, but we had a nice accumulation here. Simply what I'm going to be looking for, guys, is my simple A setup. I'm going to really love if we create some type of range here before New York, before London session, and we get that London session sweep of any type of lows that we see here, and we get that impulse breaking this high. We will take that buy towards the upside, right? We're looking for buys here on GU as well. It's not really too much I can really say, but wait for that setup to appear. Okay, that's really it. Honestly, these markets have been skyrocketing towards the upside. I've just been waiting for them to create those nice setups here for us to actually just take this market higher. Okay. So I'm gonna put this right here, and we're going to draw this out, keep this at a nice level right there. Now let's go into AU. AU, I'm taking a limit order here on AU out of this area here, guys. Boom, boom. We're gonna take a limit order out of this area. Reason why we're gonna take a limit order out of this area here is because we have a nice distribution right here. You guys can see we have a nice distribution that creates this move towards the downside, and we have a nice impulsive move towards the upside that invalidates that distribution, right? And then we have a nice imbalance inside of that as well that the market could potentially come down into. And our target is pretty far, but it's okay. It's all right. This is going to be the best bet that we could kind of get here on this market. I'm not going to lie to you. Put that demand zone right there. And let's confirm that. We'll put that there. That's basically what I'm looking for here on AU. We exited the range finally, and I'm just going off the fact that dollar is weak right now. So we're gonna just take advantage of the dollar weakness and try to buy these as much as possible. So example, you know that for USD CAD and USD Chef, we're gonna be looking for shorts. All right. Not really much else to say, right? This is a bullish market at the moment. Even on the higher time frames, we did recently break past these highs right here, and we're potentially just coming for those bigger highs towards the upside. Okay, the bigger areas up here that we're going to come for, we do have some imbalances up here that we can also use this to target. For example, on the 4-hour time frame, we have a nice imbalance right here that has never been touched. Put that as that fair value gap right there. And that's basically going to be the trade, guys. Pretty simple. We're going to just follow that dollar weakness. UCAD, we're going to get into UCAD here. Now, UCAD, man, this pair has been selling off like crazy. Okay, selling off like crazy. I'm going to continue selling this pair. Honestly, what I'm basically going to be waiting for here today, guys, is I'm just waiting for us to invalidate this low. I see that this morning we did take out Asian lows. We came up, we took out Asian highs. That is great. What I want to see here is just another manipulation of Asian highs here, and then we start getting those movements lower, and we would trade that bearish movement towards the downside. Okay, understand when dollar is weak, this is where you take advantage of these crosses right here. You have USD CAD, that's most likely going to go lower. USD Chef, most likely going to go lower. USD JPY is going to go lower, right? I think GJ as well. We're going to get into GJ, but another area that I was looking for here on USD CAD was up here, but you guys can see this market just majorly sold off, and we've just broken a low right here. So we got to break a market structure towards the downside right there, and we've just been breaking towards the downside here. We tap back into this imbalance. Let me just delete these real quick, and let me get rid of these here. This was something we were talking about during the video. Yeah, took out all these liquidity. We came back into this imbalance right here, slash fair value gap, whatever you want to call it, and we've been pushing lower ever since. Okay, so try to catch your demand zones going lower. This is going to be the main thing that you're going to be looking for, is selling opportunities. That's what I'm looking for here on USD CAD. The area that I was looking for, the market already left it. So at the moment, I'm just waiting for more opportunities to show themselves here on UCAD. UCHEF, a move that I hate that happened today, and I have to check other brokers on this because potentially we will have to look at something else. Let's see. UCHEF. All right, perfect. Let me check my broker honestly and see how that looks. USD Chef. I really hated that move that it just gave us, honestly. All right, we're good. We're good here on UShef. Let's check Forex.com. Yeah, just look at these guys. Let's see. Let's check IC markets. Some of them have it, some of them don't. My broker does have it here as well. FXCM looks pretty good too, though. But basically, the setup is here, right? The setup is gonna be here off of the manipulation. I'll just go back to the regular Oanda here, and we can use this as inducement or whatever the case may be. But if that's what that wants to be, fine. We can use it as inducement or whatever the case, right? Just ignore all of that. But the primary setup here is basically here, guys. We have a manipulation of Asian highs. We have that impulsive move towards the downside. And now we just got the break of structure. We go down to the 30-minute. We see we have that closure candle here beneath that low. Yes, we do. We have that nice closure candle right there. And the market just left us some nice inducement. So I will be looking for shorts here on UShef. Our stop loss at this high. And we're going to be targeting a 1 to 3. So let me go ahead and move that over. Let me go ahead and place an alert right here at this high. And let me place an alert. Terrible spelling. Sell limit. Let's go to AU. I'm gonna put that buy limit right here. And we're gonna talk about ACAD because ACAD really, did us dirty. So that's UShef. We're gonna look for more shorts to the downside. This also did us dirty as well. I know you guys remember from the live call, we had a very good setup here. We rated these highs right here. We had this nice impulsive move towards the downside. It left a nice 4-hour imbalance / fair value gap. We invalidated a demand zone here. I remember I told you guys, if we invalidate this demand zone, we will look for the shorting opportunity, and the shorting opportunity definitely presented itself. Just the market kind of it didn't get it right. We didn't make it. My alert didn't, my limit order did not even get tapped. We barely missed it. It's very sad. It's okay. I don't even want to look at it. It's okay. All right. We're just going to try to catch the next opportunity. He's taking this lower. All right. That's going to be the main plan here. It is okay. Let's move on to UShef here. UShef, I am looking, not UShef. I'm sorry, guys, on UJ. UJ, I'm looking for shorts. Remember, we were looking for buys at first, right? Following this bullish order flow towards the upside that ended up taking out this high. But you guys can see here, and this is why we wait for the change of character. This is why it's so important to see the change of character before we start taking longs. Okay, you can see this market was dragging its way towards the downside, and we were screaming, waiting for a change of character, or waiting for a change of character. We never got the change of character, so no trade. Okay, we never got the change of character, no trade. So I am looking for shorts here on UJ. Once these shorting opportunities present themselves, we will start looking for shorts. We do have this nice high right here of liquidity. We already swept these highs. This is news. Actually, we might be able to just take a short from here. I hate how I don't like none of this. So let me see if I can just find the right price action here. This is 9 o'clock. Market open here. What is this? This is also market open. 15. We got a nice move towards the downside. Did we get a breaker? Did get a nice breaker. I don't like the fact that this is news. But we did get a nice breaker right here. Make sure this is clean. I'll keep this on the radar for now. I'll keep that on the radar. Have liquidity here, liquidity there. We have imbalance lower. Is there anywhere else this market could really go into? We invalidated this area here. The area we filled imbalance. Yeah, this might be it. This might be the best area to sell from. Honestly, this 4-hour candle right here. The only reason I don't like it, the only thing that I don't like about this is, you guys should already know, not even the liquidity here. We did take out Asian highs, so I'm proud of that. And we came up here, we filled most of this imbalance. Not even that this high has liquidity, but the main thing I don't like here is that this is part of news. So what I will do here is I am going to just put this as a just gonna go ahead and put this here, and we're gonna leave those liquidity highs up here, and I'm just gonna keep this as a low tier supply zone. I'm not gonna set a limit order here. It's a little bit too much against it at the moment, with that being today. And I know UChef does look exactly the same, but UChef does not have liquidity above it that I'm looking at right now. Let's go back to UChef. It was Sunday. This was today. That's today at 9. Yeah, I think UChef just has a better movement towards the upside. I mean, towards the downside. I am tripping. Yeah, I like the impulse from UChef a lot more too. We didn't really get no drives here until changeover. Let's get into gold. Still bullish on gold. We filled this gap. We tapped into the 71. Like I said, down here was your best area of entry to take this higher. That was the best point of entry. Since then, we've been kind of blasting off towards the upside. Now, just going on a higher time frame view, the first thing I can see here is, let's just delete this gap since it's already been filled. Let's talk about this area right here. It's another 4-hour imbalance. We'll talk about that. If you're trading gold, what I would look for here is I would look for the market to respect this area. If you're going to take a long position, like a long-term position, stop losses should definitely go underneath this low. If you're trying to take a scalping positions, then I would wait for your setup inside of this 4-hour here before you take your next long positions. I can still see this market coming lower to fill these imbalances down here as well, and to overall just get back into this type 4 accumulation here. It's basically a heads and shoulders that is an accumulation schematic as well. It is an ugly one, but it is there. So I can still see this market getting into here, but I am bullish here. Like I said, I do expect this low to hold as long as we can continue this bullish order flow and just this bullish pressure here. Okay, so I am looking for longs on gold. First area would be here, and then second area would be down here inside of this imbalance, and I'll just make that a lot bigger. Around here, back where it gets to equilibrium. All right, let's move on. Let's go to GJ. GJ actually did give us the change of character, and let me draw this out right here. We're gonna draw this fibs out here. You can see we get into the 71, right? We get into the 71, and we actually did give that change of character. Now zooming into this, just because we got the change of character, we still need a clean setup. All right, so zooming into this, we don't have a clean setup. You can see this is during changeover. I don't like that price action at all, so we're not gonna count this as a imbalance or, you know, a verified imbalance or a clean setup that we can take something from. I do like this manipulation, but after that manipulation, we just have trash price action towards the upside. So I like the fact that we did create the change of character. So what I will say here is, let's say tomorrow when I go to sleep, let's say I wake up and we see this, see that manipulation, and we see another push towards the upside, I will take this area as my next area for a limit order and target, you know, all of this liquidity and just to make a new high. That could potentially happen here on GJ. So that is what I am looking for. And we're just in discounted pricing. We do have a long ways down that we could go to, but I'm seeing this market starting to stabilize, where we're starting to accumulate. So this is our chance to start seeing if buyers really want to get into this market. And if they do, we will see that setup appear. If they don't, then you're going to see this market continually go lower. All right. Now, if this market continually goes lower and we break this low right here, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a short. All right. If we create this change of character back towards the downside, I'm going to look for a shorting opportunity. I'm just going to let you guys know that right now. All right. CAD JPY. I don't like CAD JPY. We're in a range. That's really all I'm going to say at the moment. As far as higher time frame, depending on if someone else is looking for something else, I will get you guys a better just overview of this. At the moment, we are bearish on the higher time frames. As you can see, we are bearish on the 4-hour time frame, but recently on the 1-hour structure, we have gotten a bullish push. Now, what you can see here is based on that, look at order flow, right? Order flow has now came back and aligned itself back with the higher time frame structure that we've seen on the 4-hour. So what does that mean? You should be looking for shorts here if you are trading this. Now, me personally, I'm not trading CAD J here. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it in red because I'm not trading CAD J. I told you guys I don't like ranges, and that's not something I like. So I'm not gonna trade CAD J, but that is basically what I'm seeing. I could see this market continue lower. We do have these nice lows right here, and we do have this imbalance. So if CAD J wants to go lower and we break this low right here and I get a nice setup to take this lower, great. I will take this lower into this imbalance. But until then, I am not going to be looking for anything to trade from here. Sell setups is not even here, but I just want you guys to know I'm not looking for a buy from here or anything like that. All right. Chef J is going to be the same thing for me at the moment. Both of these two pairs were just kind of ranging for me. We keep coming back into this price action over here that we've just been kind of sitting in here, and we're building liquidity. So I'm not looking for buys because we're just building liquidity at these lows here. We're not really getting any explosive movements. You can see we barely have any imbalances. We're just having wicks back and forth. I don't like to see when the market does that. So I am personally not looking for anything here on CJ or Chef J as well. I did see somebody in the mentorship, not in the mentorship, but in the group in general, ask, what am I looking for here on CJ? Let me just go ahead and see if I can pull that up. For them real quick. Yeah, Lewis, he asks who's following CHFJPY. Let me just go ahead and tell him, right? What? I will text him. Let me text him real quick. Tell him, what are you looking for? What are you looking for here on CHFJPY? Yeah, I just see it mainly ranging, so I'm not looking for it. Not looking for anything on it, honestly. ACAD. Okay. I've already journaled a trade. So we did take a trade here on ACAD. We actually took a loss, unfortunately, on ACAD. Out of this supply zone right here. This was an A setup. I'm just redraw the trade out for you guys here real quick. A setup here. We got stopped out during what, Sunday? Yeah, Sunday market open. As soon as the market opened, we kind of just gave this kind of impulsive move towards the upside here. And since then, we've been kind of falling, right? Going into profit. So yeah, this was a losing trade, but just to kind of explain this trade and just so you guys can see why we were even looking here. We have a manipulation of Asian lows. New session range is not up. Have manipulation of Asian highs. I said Asian lows. It's crazy. We have a manipulation of Asian highs right here. We have a nice impulsive move towards the downside. We have imbalance. You can see we got that first mitigation here on Friday. We got a nice push. We did not make it to break even, unfortunately, which would have been down here. Well, it would have been reduced risk, but we didn't make it. Market open here. We got a nice just push towards the upside, ended up taking us out. And now we're going lower anyways. We're probably just going to continue going lower. So what I am going to be looking for here is I am looking for another break of this low. Let me just delete this real quick. Just get that out the way. And let me just put this right here. All right, I'm going to be looking for the break of this low. So hopefully, if we can get a manipulation of Asian highs again, and we get another push towards the downside, we will look for the same setup towards the downside again, right? That's simply what I'm going to be looking for here in ACAD. I am expecting this to go lower. Just going on the higher time frame, why I'm looking for shorts, you guys can see it as clear as day. We have this high that creates this low. We're back into premium pricing. We create a change of character. That's why we're looking for shorts. And we have nice liquidity to target over here. So that's why we're looking for shorts here on ACAD. All right, GCAD here. Let me go ahead and fix this real quick because I'm not taking a trade from here. Main reason why I'm not taking a trade from here, this is a low level supply zone because we are in a range. Okay, told you guys I don't like ranges. I do not kid about that. I really don't trade ranges. It is very, very important, and based on my strategy, it does not work out for me. Okay, so we stay away from ranges. All right, so stay away from ranges. But what I will say here, if we get this high breaking, if we get this high broken right here, boom, we'll have a nice change of character. We'll have a sweep of these lows, and simply I'll just look for that manipulation of any liquidity, push past this high, and we'll take that buy opportunity towards the upside. Reason why we will take that buy opportunity is because I am favoring buys here on this market. Higher time frame, we are bullish, and order flow, we are bullish as well. So I am favoring buys at the moment as well. So if we do get that push higher and we break this high, I'm gonna go ahead and actually set an alert right here, just so we can keep that in mind. Gotta change the character here. And then your chef. Come on, guys. We're gonna leave that alone too. That's why it's in the red at the moment. That's why it's in timeout. All right. Red means timeout, and this is why it's in timeout, because of this just messy price action. All right. Now let's jump into these boys over here, these bad boys over here. And give me 1 second, guys. Let me handle this real quick. All right. NAS. What are we looking for here on NAS? Okay, let's go to the higher time frames here real quick. And just to update this analysis here. Great liquidity. Okay, we've been getting some nice pushes towards the upside. You guys can see we've been pushing higher, we've been rating lows. So let me just add that here. Let's see the manipulations of the lows. Let me delete this real quick. Manipulations of the lows. Pair, we're pushing higher. Manipulation of the lows. Here, we're pushing higher. Manipulate lows here, push higher. Okay, we still have this gap right here on this market. All right, we're gonna keep that in mind. We still have that gap. Put it right here. Open of gap. Okay. Opening of that gap. Now, just to mark out some areas here. Let's look at the 5 minute. That was the open of the market. Go to the 30 minute. I want to see what's going to be the best. It's going to be the 15 minute or the 5 minute. 5 minute is really going to be very precise, but the 5 minute is what I would actually use here in this case. Okay, we're going to have it right here. Boom. And that's going to be our 5 minutes area here. Boom. 5 minute. All right. Which is also just a 15 minute, but 5 minutes just more precise. Okay. And what do we see? We see we had a nice distribution earlier this morning, right? Nice distribution. So that distribution most likely is going to lead us to take out all of these lows right here. We did not break the high. Let me get rid of that. We did not break that high. All right. Doesn't mean that we can't go higher. So that's why I have this imbalance here. Depending on how this market continues, depending on how we open up tomorrow. Okay. It's really going to depend on how we open up tomorrow. If we continue down and we make it towards this 5 minute gap and we start reacting off of this 5 minute gap, then I would look for entries, you know, based on that reaction to take this higher and to take a trade off of. Now, let's say this market ended up crashing and we just break past this area here, then we will look for shorts towards the downside. If we open and we just sit right here, I'm either going to look for us to target these highs or I'm going to look for shorts to target this gap. Okay, that's simply what I'm going to be looking for here tomorrow. It really depends on where this market ends up tomorrow morning during New York Open. And I'll be live, so we'll be able to look at that together. It's mainly going to be the same thing here. And it's mainly going to be the same thing here for ES. Okay, which is just the S&P 500. And actually, we might have some divergence. Oh, no, we might be locked in, guys. We have some divergence. Never mind. Never mind. We got some great. Oh yeah, we're in there. Yeah, tomorrow we might be looking for shorts. Hopefully this market just sits right here. I'm hoping we sit right here because if we do, tomorrow I'm going to look for shorts to the downside on NAS. The reason why we're going to look for NAS is because NAS is definitely the leader at the moment. This SMT right here. NAS is definitely the leader of today. Okay. And we'll look at US 30 in a second. US 30 failed to break this high as well. And we have a lot of liquidity here. So US 30 as well. There's a 4-hour gap here that I did draw out earlier. It's just this whole area. But to be honest, we're going to zoom into this. I'm going to make this a little bit better. I think the 15-minute gap is definitely what I want to see us come into, at least minimum. We do have another 15-minute here that I will put down here. Go to the 5-minute. We do have a 5-minute down here. Actually, I'll put the 5 minute here. We'll use the 5 minute right here. 5 minute is a little bit better. Yep. And then we'll use the 15 minute right here. So tomorrow morning, depending on where we're at, we're either going to target or we're going to use these to target. And then we have liquidity up here that we can use for targets if we do get into longs tomorrow. Okay, nice liquidity. Okay, so that's basically gonna be the drawings of today. I'm not really gonna do too much analyzing here. There's not really much to analyze after that. This is currently where we're at. Like I said here, depending on where this market closes at, let's say we stop right here and we just bounce over here till market open. One or two things are gonna happen. If I see this market open just bounce towards the upside and we see impulsive movements, we're starting to see this just momentum towards the upside, I would look for longs to take out these highs if possible. If not, and we short, right? If we can get opportunities to short, we will look for opportunities to short to fill these gaps. If not, and let's say the market already is here and we bounce, we're gonna target this liquidity. All right, if we're invalidating these gaps, we're gonna target the lower gap. If we invalidate that gap, we're just gonna keep shorting until we get to that low. All right, so it really depends on where this market opens. Okay, market open is very important. So we're gonna wait till market open. I'm not gonna do any more speculating here. We're gonna wait till tomorrow. We have our areas marked out. We know kind of what we're gonna target depending on what happens. That's what we're gonna look for. I'm gonna be live tomorrow, so we will be able to just look at this and update this and look at this in real time and be able to trade that in real time. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty much it for me at the moment. So let's look at crypto real quick. I think Bitcoin is kind of retracing down a little bit here, and we'll end it off with Bitcoin. Honestly, I can see us just stabilizing here for a little bit before we do anything. We definitely might get a nice rejection towards the downside, probably back into 100,000. I could definitely see that happening. Just another distribution here, as you can see, is kind of forming already. A nice distribution to get us back into 100,000. And then here at 100,000 will most likely range. Depending on how we hold 100,000, if we barely hold 100,000, we're gonna go down here back into this area here, which will be nice buying opportunities. If not, we'll probably just bounce off the 100,000 and we'll create another reaccumulation until another high, and then we'll continue stabilizing, right? We want to continue seeing this stable price action that's moving back and forth, guys. It is very important to maintain that bullish order flow here on Bitcoin. So that is pretty much it for me, guys, here. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow during a live call, 9:15 a.m. All right, that's 15 minutes before New York Open. We're gonna trade New York Open. We're gonna look at the Forex pairs. We're gonna look at everything that we need to look at. Thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, any concerns, please let me know. Do not forget, those of you that are in the mentorship, check out that video, me breaking down. And then I will have the video talking about how I day trade futures here. You can call them indices. They're basically indices, NAS, XPX, and US30, basically indices, but I do trade the futures contracts instead because they're the real price action. So I don't have to deal with like spread and stuff like that as well. So I will be breaking down the strategy for that as well, and I will send that in the mentorship. So stay tuned for that. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.